Hey everybody, welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. It's a new week, new episodes coming your way, a busy week of episodes and amazing guests we have coming up. We're now doing our summer hours for those of you who are joining us through late June, July, and August. We're doing the summer hours because a lot of people are still out and about. This is really for those who like to join us live. Those who watch our show and they binge watch later on, none of that matters because you can watch these episodes anytime you want because they're available for you 24/7, 365 on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. But we know a lot of people do like to participate live. They like to be a part of the live action of the fact that this is a live broadcast and a live show. So in the summer, because of my busyness of work in television and radio during the day, which is totally straight out, plus we're going to be doing some traveling and family time and a little vacation time and things of that nature. We're adjusting our show hours and we're adjusting them for 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific. That way, again, people have time to come home who want to join us live. And again, because it's so beautiful out, people are still out at the parks and they're playing tennis and they're tossing the frisbee around and they're swimming in the ocean or their swimming pools. So we were talking about doing these hours for quite some time, and I really love it. And a number of our viewers have said it, and the guests are loving it too. So perfect. And again, we're making the adjustments so it's easy for everybody who wants to join us live. But if you can't join us live at 8 o'clock, no problem. Again, everything is there to watch as often as you like on our YouTube channel. As a matter of fact, we would love it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, the channel you're watching right now, Jim Masters TV, and click the notification bell. Now, when you see that little red icon that's in the upper hand corner of our YouTube channel, it says subscribe, just click on that. There's no cost, there's no fees, none of that. You can click on that and click the notification bell, and guess what? You'll be notified whenever we have live episodes, if there's ever a time change, if we have to do a show earlier in the day or a show later in the day, or there's a switch of days due to schedules or guests appearances or whatever it may be. Plus our surprise pop-up shows that we do. We have another one that's coming up we're working on. It's going to be coming up this week. We were going to do something last week, but we ran out of time. Very busy week. So we're going to do something this week for you. Pop-up where we do a host viewer, levity chat, and so much more. We do a lot of different things on this show. A lot of extras that we do that, go way and beyond just typical videos on YouTube or a lot of people do. We like to bring our viewers in. We like to have good times with our guests. And the guests come from Broadway, Hollywood, television, film, music, comedy, sports, culinary arts, inspiration, you name it. And we've had some amazing guests, really extraordinary people, and more to come. Subscribe to the channel, Jim Masters TV. Click that notification bell. And we thank you for those who've done it already. Those who haven't, no worries. You still have time to do it. Good to have you with us. We welcome everybody who's watching. We've got a very, very special guest today who's joining us all the way from Los Angeles, California. Yes. Leo FOTI is here on the show, and we're very excited to have him on the show because he's a brilliant film, television, and stage actor, as well as producer. And he's got some really cool projects that he's been a writer and director for. A Man and His Prostate. Yes, he directed that TV comedy special starring the one and only Ed Asner. Also, Tipping Point, the wonderful, riveting short film, the Love Triangle short film, Extravaganza, Ciao Hollywood. Why Did I Marry an Italian? And he's originally from Italy. He lives in Los Angeles. He's also worked in New York, Grand Hotel, and Doritos Touchdown, and so much more. Award-winning writer, director, creative producer, founder of Seven Waves Entertainment, of the Shorts and Stuff Film Festival as well, and Vita Nova Pictures. Yes, he is live and direct from Los Angeles, California. Let's welcome our special guest. Welcome,
Hello.
my friend. Good to have you with us.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here.
So how's everything going? Are you baking there in LA, or
No,
you're in air conditioning, nice
it's
and cool?
nice and cool in my hub here, and but it's wonderful weather. We have the luxury of having like the best weather in the world, and we enjoyed it.
That's good. That's good. How long have you been in LA? Because I was mentioning in the introduction that you, of course, worked in New York as well. You've gone back and forth, but you hail originally from Italy, right?
Yes, I do. Born and raised in Rome. So I started my career in Rome, and then I came to the U.S. for college, and I moved to LA when I was about 21. So that's a little while ago.
Yeah.
And then my studies took me to New York. And then after I finished college in New York, LA seemed to be the place to get going in film. And I actually started off doing more theater than film here in LA. And then I'm a bit of a creative mad person, and storytelling became more of my thing, and I started writing and creating my own projects, and then it went on like that. So I've been in LA about 12 years, I think. That's pretty much.
So what was the when you were growing up in Italy, did you have an interest in writing and directing and performing and producing? Did that spur on early for you?
Like I always, yes, I always had the creative bug, and it started off with music with me. I started off singing and pursuing my singing career, and then that kind of transformed into acting. I did quite a lot of acting as a kid. I had this baby face with the blonde hair, so I was like the kid for the cereal commercials and all that kind of stuff, like you know what I mean, the silly stuff. But it was kind of like a way to break into the business and know some people. And then singing kind of opened up my mind and my heart to a lot of more artistic thoughts, and inspired me to go to drama school. And then that really was a big change for me. And then creativity kind of shows itself to you more than the other way around, I think. And I started having these ideas and things, and it was so amazing to being able to cultivate the ability to put my ideas on papers and started writing. And I started to I'm a doer. I just get out and do it. So when you're younger, there's a lot of, you just go out and do it. There's a risk is not as big. And so I started to make my own little shorts and stuff, and I learned the art of filmmaking not by going to school, but by doing it. And it's paying off.
What was the very first project you worked on that really sort of launched things for you? Yeah.
Well, it's tough to say. My biggest success so far, I guess, is my feature film Vino, which, as well as The Man and His Prostate, which you mentioned, stars Ed Asner and it stars Sean Young. And so that, I think, could be so far the biggest thing I accomplished. Is pretty cool murder mystery comedy, which also stars our common friend Alice in England.
Oh,
she's in that too.
Ali England, who the viewers know very well, because Alice in England was a guest on our show a couple of times, and dear friend of yours and mine. Absolutely.
Super good friend of mine, and she was in my movie, and we kind of wrote it with that character with her in mind. So that I have to say might be my biggest accomplishment. Yeah, but I think the thing that got it all started, it's in a way the first shorts get it going for you, and you know what I mean. It's where you start to meet people, you start to go out and film festivals and things. So although looking at them now, it's like, okay, what did I do there? What was I thinking? I have a lot of love for the mistakes I've made, and some of them are actually good.
Yeah.
So.
I like that. Some of them are actually good.
Yeah.
Well, we all learn from our mistakes, right? I mean, it makes us better. We also get there's different perspectives that we learn at the same time. We learn different things about ourselves. What are some things along the way that you learned about yourself and how do you describe your style, Leo?
A lot of people, especially now that I'm working on so much,
a lot of projects
going on, and a lot of writing, and I'm writing things that are very different from each. From there is a very broad range of genres. A lot of people ask me, okay, what's your genre as a writer? What do you like writing? It's very hard to say, but I think that one common thread is all my stories and all the things that I work on, whether they're drama or comedy, have a bit of an edge. They kind of walk that fine line of, okay, what the hell is going on here? And that's where I find attractive. It's very cool for me to explore those situations that are just a little off. And then maybe it's because I'm a little off as a person, I don't know. But I think that would be the main the most common thing. But I do have a insane passion for comedy, because it's just more fun. There is just so much more to explore. It's way harder to do than anything else. So if I, when I can pick what to work on next, I usually lean towards a laugh versus, but that's kind of like my thing. Things that have a bit of an edge, a bit of a weird side.
Who are some of the folks, in the industry already, maybe some of the legends or the ones that are even up and coming today that you've always gravitated towards, people that you've respected, admired, and enjoyed following that are in the industry?
Man. It's so, there's so many of, I grew up, obviously I grew up in Italy. And so I have a lot of strong influence from all the neorealism and all those great directors like Fellini and De Sica. I grew up watching them, but I also grew up watching a lot of the Italian comics that come from La Commedia dell'arte, and a lot of those movies that were at that time considered B level movies, and now they're just classics. And these comedians that just were breathtaking. And as far as the international, American, I'm a big fan of most of the classics. I'm a big fan of Hitchcock. I love Tarantino.
Yeah.
And then the quirky, weird side of me is a Mel Brooks dude, and
Oh yeah,
and all that. You know what I mean? All that stuff.
it's his
John
birthday
Patrick
this
Shanley.
week too. He's like in his mid-90s now.
Oh, he's invincible, and such an amazing personality, and what a brain. It's to do comedy is just it's hard, man.
It is, yeah. Even for people who, I love comedy as well, and for people who have done drama, who try to do comedy, they all say it's so much harder to make that transition. It's a lot easier, not that it's easy, but easier for somebody that's in comedy to take on drama, but for somebody who's dramatically trained to just inherently, it's timing, and a lot of it, you're born with it, and it's
exactly
life experiences of life too, that you've sort of tallied up that come out in your comedy.
It's a certain instinct for timing and for finding amusement in some things that are very tragic in life.
Yeah.
And so then you have this outlook on things, and if you're lucky, you're able to translate it onto the page and then on the screen. But
Right.
it's tough and so satisfying when you get to do it, though. It's amazing.
What were some of the projects you were working on when you were in New York? What brought you to New York initially?
I went to New York to study, actually. I wasn't really working much in New York. It was more of it was beautiful. I had the time of my life in New York. I was doing musical theater school here in LA. So that was the program I was enrolled in for college. And an amazing academy. I was attending AMDA, and I felt I was missing out on something. There was something within me that was burning. I was like, oh, Los Angeles is beautiful, but the focus that people have in New York, theater people, that kind of insane drive to get good at your craft. It's something that I had experienced for a very brief time when I went to audition for school in New York, and I was there for a little while, and I was missing while I was here in LA. So I went up to the dean of my college, this wonderful man named Michael Sarter, and he's passed away now, but he was such a good influence on my life, because a lot of the students that were here in LA, they were very protective of us. They wanted to keep us here and grow the school at that time. And I spoke to Michael, and Michael was like, Leo, you gotta go to New York. And he helped me out. He found me housing there, and so what I did is I moved to New York, and I took a semester off AMDA to go to the Lee Strasberg Film and TV Institute to kind of dive in and get a little bit more in touch with whatever it was inside me that needed to come out. And it was a very interesting experience. And then when I felt I was cooked enough, I went back to musical theater school, and I was able to actually appreciate that in a much deeper way, because I'd done a work on another level. So it was kind of cool to then go back and do some jazz hands with something behind you.
What were you? So while you were there in New York and learning, and you said you needed to explore some things and have some things sort of rise to the surface. What are some things you learned along the way while you were there about yourself?
You know, I think life took me to the Lee Strasberg Institute, and you know, method acting. It's funny because right now it's something that I don't use anymore,
right.
And it's something that actually, as a director, I don't encourage. It's not something that is for me. I think every actor works in its own way, but I have to say it's a great way at a certain time of your life to kind of discover what's underneath a lot of the walls that we put up, and then there is a lot of honesty, a lot of truthfulness. It's just a way to do it. I discovered, if you ask for me personally, you know, I discovered a lot of fears. A lot of unresolved crap and a lot of insecurity and a lot of power and a lot of emotions. And the thing about it, sorry, my puppy is just going crazy. The thing about it is
if she comes in the room, this audience loves pets.
I know
children, food.
He'll come say hi.
Yeah.
Now, what I was going to say is that a lot of the times, you know, people forget artists are vulnerable people.
Absolutely.
And so we learn to build this wall and look always perfect and feel we have to perform at this high standard. But in reality, there is so much that needs, you know, we need so much feedback and affection. And that is part of being an artist. So I just learned to accept that. I think the biggest thing is just you gotta know that you gotta take care of yourself in that way as well, and that's okay. It's okay to be fragile and vulnerable. It's okay to not be able to do something. It's okay. And you know, the more I go on and the more I work with people that in by everybody's standards have made it, you know, like just someone like Ed Asner, the more I learn that part of an actor, that part of an artist, that vulnerable part never goes away, no matter how many awards you can display on your you know, in your living room or wherever. No matter how much you go on, that part is always there and it needs some sort of relief, and that's why you keep working and you keep, you know, going on like that. It's so if you're an actor and an artist, I'm, you know, speaking to you guys directly, it's wonderful, it's beautiful, and it comes with this insecurity and vulnerability. Just embrace it. It's not going to go away. I'm sorry to give you bad news, but it's what allows you to make great work. It's what allows you to draw into you and grab something great and bring it out on the screen or on the stage or wherever you're doing.
That's right. Did Ed Asner tell you, by the way, that you had spunk like he told Mary Tyler Moore?
You know, that man was such a gift.
He's a legend. He's just one of the best. Yeah.
I had the pleasure to work with him and to become his friend and to work with him again and to travel with him and to film festivals. I mean, the genius, the comedic genius.
His timing is impeccable.
Dude, oh my God. Yeah. I had such a, you know, I was just lucky for me to get him on my movie. And it kind of happened by coincidence because we were trying to cast, we were talking to my casting directors and we were exploring, we were almost got a deal with the, no, I shouldn't say that. Maybe that's not completely accurate. We were in discussions with the Danny DeVito team to be in my movie, and that went on forever. And there was no chance that Danny DeVito seemed like he wasn't gonna ever read the script. It was just a situation that went on forever. And I was so ready to make this movie, and then my casting directors were like, "Okay, well, who do you want this movie? What kind of actor do you want?" I was like, "Well, we should get someone like Ed Asner," I said. And they said, "Well, what about Ed Asner?" And I said, "Well, yes, give me Ed Asner. If you can give me Ed Asner, give me Ed Asner." So chance was that by coincidence, one of my casting directors had a connection to Ed's manager, a personal connection. So we kind of took a back door into that, and Ed read the script, and it was a very quick yes, and then I was like, my whole world was like, oh,
it just changed. Yeah.
Oh my God, it was amazing. It was amazing. So I talked on the phone with Ed, and he was very nice, and then I finally got to meet him. And my first meeting with Ed was something of a. It was amazing. It was pretty amazing.
What was that like? Were you pinching yourself? Were you like, oh my God, I'm
no, because it was kind of already. The deal was already made.
Yeah.
I had spoken to him on the phone.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss on this, but
it was freaking good.
It was freaking good. No, but so the deal was already made. I had spoken to Ed on the phone, and now we were maybe like 3 weeks away from shooting, and I go to meet Ed at his house. His daughter opens the door, and he's like, "Oh, so nice to meet you." It was very Eliza. She's amazing. She's a wonderful artist as well. She doesn't even accompany me. She said, "Go in the kitchen. Dad is right there. He's waiting for you."
Just like that.
And I'm like, "What do you mean go to the kitchen?"
Was there a sandwich waiting for you too?
No, so I go to the kitchen. He's there having his coffee. He looks at me, like all those little grouchy. He's like, "Who the fuck are you?" I'm like, "We're making a movie in a couple of weeks. You better figure out who I am." "Oh yeah, come here. How the hell do you expect me to learn all those lines?" And I was like, "I don't know. You're a pro. I'm sure you'll be fine." And then he did something that I will never forget, because I don't know how much your audience knows about the inner workings of the industry, but when you're dealing with someone like that, obviously there's no audition involved. There's none of that. You offer a role, and the actor responds
to take it or not,
yes
right?
or no. So, but Ed did something that was probably it was astonishing how generous of an artist is and of a human being he is.
Yeah.
He looked at me and said, "Well, go to my office, grab the script." And I'm like, okay, maybe he has some questions. So I go to his office. He's got a pile like this tall of scripts. So I finally find mine. I go back. He sits me down, and the man read the entire script for me with me. And I was so in such shock, but at the same time, it's so amazed by the generosity of somebody giving this, young director at his first feature so much time, and for me to hear the lines that I wrote in his voice with the depth of the years of experience as an actor that he has. It was a dream come true. The character he was playing came to life in a second, and I was in heaven, and I was so grateful.
For him to do that was a real class act. That was a class move.
Man, you can't even believe it. You can't even believe how much that means to somebody that's about to make a movie. And obviously, with all the, I'm a 30-year-old director working with a 88-year-old legend. It was just, to finding him an ally right away, it was a gift and a credit to him. It was it was just amazing.
Yeah, we actually have a clip, I believe, from the movie. Tell us a little bit about it while we set it up here.
It comes from me growing up in a crazy Italian family, so a lot of my comedy finds origin in that. But it's a fun, offbeat murder mystery kind of comedy, where a family finds themselves in a very absurd situation, and that's in Vino. Oh, that's Ed right there. And Sean Young played his wife, which was kind of cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So is this available for people to see now?
Oh, yeah. Amazon.
So Amazon has it. Okay.
Yeah. Go on Amazon and you'll find it in Vino.
And it's been doing well, huh? I know it's won awards and
we won Best Comedy at the Hollywood Film Festival. I won Best Screenplay Award at the ARPA International Film Festival.
Awesome.
We opened the Hollywood Film Festival at Paramount Studios. It was the Ojai Film Festival, a bunch of places, and then we just sold it right away. So it went to distribution, and that's the story of my movie. But yeah, play the trailer. It's really fun. You get to see Ed in action a little bit. And also, I have a cast of amazing people in it too, besides Ed and Sean.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, let's take a
Ali
look.
England, as we mentioned, is there.
Ali's in it. Yeah.
Jeff Duchette is in it. Marina Benedict is in it. Brandon is in it. Jen Candy, which is John Candy's daughter, is in the movie as well.
Candy's daughter too. Yeah.
Yeah. Candice Azara, Jill Michelle Milian, Andre Gordon. Oh my God, I can't.
So this family that's extremely wealthy, they invite their closest friends and family members to dinner.
So what happens is Ed Asner's character is this billionaire with a B, and invites all his closest family and friends to dinner. It's later in the years, and he has to have a talk with everybody. What happens during the dinner at the beginning of the movie is he falls face forward onto his plate, dies. And on the other side of the table, Sean Young starts to laugh and say, yes, he's dead and I killed him.
Yeah. And
I'm going to kill everybody else in this room with the same poison unless you decide to kill one person among the group, take the fall for this murder-suicide, and we all get on free with my husband's money. And so the rest of the movie is this amazing and totally screwed up group of people trying to figure out who to kill. And by doing that, all the dirty secrets and all that stuff that they've been hiding from each other comes out, and it's just hilarious.
With the comedic elements weaved in too, which is cool.
Absolutely. It's just
all right.
It's just insane.
It's a quick clip, gang. We have actually several clips of Leo's work we're going to take a look at as well. And thanks for joining us, everybody, on the Jim Masters Show Live. Here is that clip. You're going to love it. It goes fast, so enjoy, gang. And again, thanks for joining us on the show. Here we go.
Billionaire and jet setter Charles Dutour's health condition remains unknown after an accidental fall during his 80th birthday party just 2 weeks ago today.
I'm the victim of a cheap family murder mystery plot.
If you think your family is trying to kill you, deal with it.
They all want me to die.
I see an idea being born.
Absolutely right.
Oh.
Dad, what's the control?
Could you just enjoy the Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? That indescribable taste in the Chateau Lafitte was
Get the hell out of here.
Oh, you better hurry.
because you only have 54 minutes to live. You have 50 minutes to choose. Who of you deserves to die? Stop us from cutting your throat. Let him pick up books. Eat pretzels. Me.
That is amazing. That is fantastic. Yeah.
It was so much fun.
I mean, just all of it, the action, the music, everything. It's looks like it was a lot of investment of time and attention in that, huh?
Man, it was my life for a long time, and it was so much fun to make. And now watching it, I haven't seen it in a while myself, and just Ed's face, but also everybody else. Such a gift, and so many amazing actors, and to, I have to say, I give myself a lot of credit for having picked the right people, and so that was a lot of, the how this came out good, and of course, all the elements together, and the music, and the way we shot it, and it was just a very cool journey. I was very lucky. Are you there?
one, Dolce Sofia.
I think I lost you, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, it's kind of breaking out a little bit. Can you hear me fine though?
Yeah, we hear you fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Tell us about Dolce Sofia. I got that clip too.
Okay. I'm sorry, say it again.
Tell us about Dolce Sofia. We have that clip too.
Oh, that's a completely different chapter of my life. You know, throughout the years, I go back to Italy to teach acting and musical theater, and I have this wonderful academy. It's called the FOTI Vocal Studio, and they're just phenomenal kids. And we've put on throughout the years a number of live performances, and these kids just rock it. And it's been such a gift for me to go back and work with my people and my, you know, the FOTI Vocal Studio is basically the best vocal studio in Rome, in Italy, and it's led by il mio maestro, my super dear vocal coach, Alfredo Totti, and he has done something amazing with his kids, and he created a group of artists, and they're rocking it. So I go back, and Dolce Sofia was a musical review that we put together before the pandemic, and we produced it in one of the biggest theaters in Rome. It was so fantastic, and this is a little clip from the finale of Dolce Sofia.
Welcome back.
We're back.
We are back. We got,
Okay.
we got rough weather here, so I don't know if that's interfering. It could be making the internet a little weird. But you were telling us about Dolce Sofia a little bit.
Yes, I don't know how far I got, but what I lost you. But I'm gonna tell you about it again. How's that?
That sounds good.
So I've been lucky enough to be able to go back to my home country in Italy and to work with Totti Vocal Studio, which is led by my dear friend and my vocal coach, you know, the man who's really started me in my artistic career, Alfredo Totti. And he's just a genius. He runs the best vocal studio in Italy, and he's gathered a group of artists. And I go back and teach musical theater and acting to them. And periodically we put on these shows, and we've worked in some of the major theaters in Italy and created some of the most wonderful work with them. And this clip that you're about to show is, I think it's the finale of the Dolce Sofia show, which is the last show we did just before the pandemic. This is just a group of students, but they're phenomenal. They're professional, about to start their careers, and it's mind-blowing for me to go back and, you know, give back at the same time. I learn more than they learn, I think, and it's pretty awesome. And it's such a gift for me to work with Alfredo. He's really the guy who's opened the door to an artistic life for me. So I have a lot of love for him and a lot of professional respect.
Let's take a look at that clip now. Dolce Sofia.
Like
Man,
That was really cool.
you're taking me down memory lane here. It's so wonderful to see that. That was Francesca, and she's a wonderful, wonderful singer. And the ensemble of the show, they were just like, they were all amazing. They all had their moment to shine. And again, going back home for me and to work with Alfredo is just, you know, you gotta. This is a business that you have to remember real friends and keep them close. And so that's something that you got to be aware of and keep going like that, because they're hard to come by.
And then Ed Asner returns, and we have A Man and His Prostate, which I believe was also on tour. He did a tour of that, and that's hilarious.
Oh man. So that was written by Ed Weinberger, and you know, the TV writer from Taxi and a bunch of other things. He's a genius writer. And Ed Asner has been touring with the theater show for years. And I've seen it and I loved it. And after our movie was finished, I grabbed my producers and I said, you guys, we have to produce this show as a TV special. There's so many amazing moments, and Ed is to die for. So I was kind of piggybacking on the momentum of my movie to just roll another one out, and we found a little money, we rented a theater, we got Ed involved and the other Ed, and we just did it, and it was so phenomenal to again be on set again and direct Ed, but mostly to just get it done for him, and to it's so much fun. And the show itself, it's amazing. If you roll the clip, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, let's take a look at that now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to present Ed Asner in A Man and His Prostate.
As you have probably guessed from the title, this play concerns my prostate. Picture me in an examination room. Before I knew what was happening, Dr. Carini had his hand in a latex glove and one finger deep up my ass. Asked to describe my symptoms, I had to do so by combining English and Marcel Marceau to indicate that I was getting up 9 times a night to take a piss. I went... I was breaking wind in ways previously unheard of by the human ear. There were the sonic booms. Another brought to mind an elderly Vietnamese woman slurping her noodles. I'd like to thank all of you for coming here tonight and letting me share my prostate with you.
Oh my God. Ed is just Ed. That too, you guys can find on Amazon, and I think it's on DVD at Walmart. So if people are not online, they can buy the DVD at Walmart or something like that. But it's man,
too.
he's just too much.
Amazing, so versatile. We've got another teaser too. This one's Extravaganza. Tell us about that.
Extravaganza is actually a project I'm currently working on and putting together with a couple of producers, and I shot this teaser a little while ago, and so it's an old project of mine that I'm bringing back to life, and I had this crazy idea to do a show about a show about a show, meaning there is this TV show about this live club as a reality show is being filmed about them. And all the backstage drama of this, our weird life that we live as artists in LA. And we wrote the music for it. We shot this a while ago. And Jane Lanier did the choreography for it. She's, a Tony Award choreographer. So amazing, such a wonderful human being, but an artist of another category, and so that was fun, and we're now shopping the pilot around, but that's Extravaganza.
Let's take a look at that now too.
stupid talented.
It's everything. It's what I live for. Once I got you, then I'll drive you, honey. I'll be a star.
All the lights and the stage and just all the cool stuff about it. It's kind of exciting. They're all fighting to get ahead. There's a lot of divas.
I don't know if you can shock me.
I'm your addiction, there's no escape.
My best feature?
Definitely my tits.
I don't know. What do you want?
I need you guys to give me something more.
That's bullshit. I party a little.
It has to be a perfect... Get your fucking cameras off my face, okay?
No, it's a reality show.
Nick, you have to pull yourself together. Okay, this is our last hope.
And this fucking bitch in my fucking...
Oh, I'm a bitch? Shoot that too, because I'm about to come after you.
I should have warned for language.
Here come the YouTube community standards comments on YouTube. They're so tough with all that. They're tough with that, and they're tough with copyright. We do have another one here, and Tipping Point. Now, this one's riveting. This is something that's pretty exciting. Is this in the works too, or is this already?
No, no.
It was out a while ago, right?
No. This is a short film I did. It was one of my first short films, and actually one of the ones that I'm most proud of. It was such a great journey and endeavor to make this movie. I had this idea years and years ago of sort of following the stories of different characters in this one building and kind of going back and forth and seeing what happens in this weird night with something magical sort of happens. And then I started working with my partner, Marco Gomez, and we created 7 Waves Entertainment a few years ago. And this was our first project together. And you know, it was such an ambitious thing to take on as a filmmaker. We built sets on a stage, then we flew to New York to shoot the outside. We had driving shots on a scooter. It was so amazing. But the result, you know, it's one of those things, like I was telling you before, where I cringe sometimes as early stuff that I did that wasn't as you know, just, you know, early mistakes. This actually is one that I look back and I'm like, okay, you know, I mean, I knew what I was doing. You can see behind me, I still have the poster kind of right there. You see it? Ooh, the other way. Wait, here it, the other way. Here it is. So,
and you got Liza on the other side.
I love Liza. Oh, the other side. That's my Liza. We saw her at the Hollywood Bowl a few years ago. Yeah, Liza's one of my idols. So yeah, Tipping Point is a short. I think it's online somewhere. I don't know. It won a bunch of awards, and then it was distributed by Shorts International for a while. So it's on some channels, but I don't even know at this point where it is. But that's Tipping Point. So if anybody wants to see Tipping Point, write me an email. I'll send it to you. But it's a really cool little short.
Here it is.
Damn, I forgot it was that long ago.
2012, yeah, and everybody has their tipping points. Everybody's in this apartment building, and it sort of goes through the different lives of the different people in the building.
Yeah, it's a very short, but you know, it's the main message behind the movie is that sometimes, especially when your life is going at such a high speed, it takes just a little thing to make such a huge difference. And that message comes in this sort of like crazy journey of 12 minutes throughout this building where these people are just having a moment, and this moment gets interrupted by this big event that happens, and all of a sudden actually resolves everything at the same time. You know, it's a bit of you know, a philosophical kind of movie. Unlike a lot of things I do, it's not a comedy, it's dramatic, and it's it was very beautiful to do though, and it still holds. I think it's you know, and a lot of people wanted me to transform it into a feature film. I said all I have to say with it. You know, some things are just meant to be short, and this was Tipping Point.
How do you know when to decide to keep it as a short or to make it more of a full length? Is that a tough thing?
No, I think the story tells you. It's you know, I do believe the story tells you how to move forward with it, and so some stories will need more time. So there is, you know, right now I'm working on a story, and it's, you know, it's a TV show, and I know I need actually more than one episode to tell the story, because I know I'm not done with it. There is not, you know, 120 pages script that can contain it all, or, you know, something like Tipping Point. I was able to tell them, be satisfied with telling that message in 12 pages, and so that it kind of tells you. A funny thing is, for instance, my movie in Vino, I said all I have to say with it as a feature film, but that movie lends itself to the stage. So I actually transformed the script to a stage play now, because I think there is so much more to explore with it in a live performance. And so, like, I've been developing it as a theater project now. So some things I'm done with, like Tipping Point. I know I'm not gonna touch it. It's done. It's there, and then that's what it is. And some things I continue to, if I'm not fully satisfied, I continue to find the next thing for it. But there's so much I'm working on that, you know, I'm not often going back and bringing something back to life.
What are some other projects that you're working on? I know you can't say too much because some things are sort of in development or deals made. But what are a few things what are some things that you see on the horizon you would love to work on? Maybe work with certain people, tackle certain subject matter?
So there is a couple of things that are in the works that I'm very excited to tackle next. I'm gonna give you a couple. I wrote a TV show called Artie, and Artie is about this radio, well, kind of like, you know, someone like you actually. He's a podcast radio guy. He lives in New York.
Host personality.
He's a media personality, but unlike you seem to have your life very well together. He is a total screw up. And he lives in New York, and he's bisexual, he's bipolar, he's bi everything. And he finds himself confronting the society today where we're trying to come back, we're trying to be reborn, and yet there is so many contradictions that are still alive, and there is so much to say about so many topics that are, you know, socially irrelevant right now. And through comedy and through his outrageousness, Artie kind of does that while searching for love. As a bisexual man, the search for love is somewhat, I mean, let's say it's comedic, if anything else. So that's one. I had the privilege last year to write a script of a movie that I'm, fingers crossed, is going to be my next movie. It's an American film, but it has an Italian title so far. It's called Le Dame in Rosa, which means the dames in pink. And I co-wrote the script with a Hollywood legend, Martin Donovan. Martin, we all know him from writing Death Becomes Her. He's the writer-director of Apartment Zero, a million other movies. And you know, and it was a wonderful, wonderful event for me. I got lucky again, where Martin read this treatment that I wrote with this movie, La Dame Rosa, and I was able to create the circumstances to get him on and write it with me. And the story is about these three women in their third act they gather in Monte Carlo, and one of their husbands dies that night. And after the funeral, they were sort of, letting their hair down and talking and dealing with the situation. They end up in the basement of this glorious house in Monte Carlo, and they find a suitcase full of pink cocaine. And so the rest of the movie is them dealing with this absurd situation in which they have to figure out what to do with this suitcase of cocaine, why and where and what's going on. And, Martin Donovan and I wrote a script that's just a little gem. And I have to say, writing with Martin was probably undoubtedly the highlight of my writing career. It was such an amazing experience to watch him, create and go through the creative process and learn. If I had gone, to school for screenwriting, I wouldn't have gotten as much as I did in 3 months writing with Martin. It was wonderful. So that's one more thing that's kind of happening, and so I'm splitting my time between screenwriting and developing for film and TV, and now that the pandemic is finding its way out, we're hopefully coming back with a lot of fun stuff.
If people want to check out more on Amazon, we mentioned too, the website. What's your website?
LeoFoti.com, but you can also look me up on IMDb, Google me. It's everything is online right now. It's so easy. You'll probably find my phone number in 5 minutes.
You can't hide.
Yeah.
Well, it was a pleasure having you on, my friend, and we wish you lots of success and lots of blessing. And I hope you enjoyed the time with us, and we'll definitely have you back. Let's stay in touch and keep me posted on some of the cool things you're working on.
I definitely will. We should hook up, and next time I'll tell you about Toucan, which is actually another endeavor of mine that we'll take a whole new episode to talk about, though, because it's a phone app that we're developing. So it's something completely different, but I think your viewers might get a kick out of it.
That sounds cool. Our Wi-Fi is getting a little funky here too. So we'll have you back and we'll chat some more. And this was really a pleasure, my friend.
It was my pleasure.
Toast you. In my blurry picture, I'm probably all blurry right now, and it's not because of this. It's the Wi-Fi. There's a storm outside.
Oh,
so toast you. And,
cheers.
Cheers.
I'll toast you with my coffee.
There you go. Cheers. And thanks for being with us, my friend. It was really a pleasure. And again, we've got Ali as our mutual friend. And
big shout out to Ali.
Absolutely. You be well and you take care. Okay.
You do the same. Thanks a lot.